Hey guys, we have Mercury direct to talk about. Mercury station direct yesterday is officially moving forward in the sky as of today. This is a good thing. This is probably doing a, a bit to streamline our process with things right now. Communication should start clearing up. Things should start moving forward a little bit, but we do still have a lot of retrograde planets, and two more of them are going to be stationing direct actually throughout the course of this month. But we also have Mars slowing down and preparing to go retrograde at the end of this month as well. So we're giving a little, but we're also getting a little. And although we do have Mercury direct in the energy now, which should, like I said, be streamlining things a bit, we also have some heavier vibes coming in today. Today may be a bit of a downer. We may feel a bit more pessimistic, some discouragement coming through. We may actually feel like, how can I go on? Or like there's just some insurmountable blocks that we have to somehow overcome at this point in time in order to move forward along a trajectory that we had been wanting to align ourselves with. There just could be, we've got black moon energy going on. We've got a moon in Capricorn that is moving into a conjunction with Pluto. We have Mercury, who just stationed direct in an opposition almost exact to Neptune, while Mars is forming a square in Gemini. So on one hand, we do have Mercury direct to talk about, and this is benefiting us in a lot of ways. However, on the other hand, today's energy may be bringing up a bit of like pessimism and discouragement and just heavier energy, heavier vibes all the way around, especially with that black moon energy going on as well. But you guys, it's all good. Uranus is still operating, and so there are some silver linings actually in effect today, despite what we may be navigating. So let's get into the report, you guys. Let's talk about what is coming at us to start our month of October and what we may be able to anticipate on the ground today. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. Today is Monday, October 3rd, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook of the day. If you guys stick with me till the end of the report, we are also going to be talking about some tarot cards that came out in correspondence with our astrology, just so that we can tap the energy field from more than one modality and get a more well-rounded, holistic overview of our energetic blueprint for the day. So let's start with astrology, as we always do, you guys. Yes, here we are opening our month of October. I don't know how you guys felt about this past weekend. We had a grand cross coming in on Saturday to open our weekend in mutable signs, Mercury, Neptune, Mars, and the moon. And then on Sunday, Mercury turned around and went direct in the opposition to Neptune. So we are coming out of a pretty intense weekend of energy. That grand cross that played out on Saturday, I feel like that was pretty significant, pretty intense. A lot of things maybe have really been coming sort of like to a head. A lot of conversations going on about things that we just maybe don't understand as well, that we're creating some really like heated emotional responses to things, perhaps having gone on over the weekend. And then, like I said, we turned around on Sunday and then had Mercury go direct, but it's in the opposition to Neptune. I keep thinking, you guys, like if Mercury never goes retrograde, like direct, like in an opposition to Neptune again, like I won't necessarily be upset about it. It just like, it takes a lot of like the joy to me out of Mercury going direct, because Mercury in opposition to Neptune, you guys, this is like a classic aspect of disorientation and confusion and like lack of clarity. And that's what Mercury retrograde a lot of times brings too, is lack of rationality, lack of streamlined thought, lack of clarity, misunderstandings. But that's exactly what Mercury opposite Neptune also does. So it's like, even though we do have Mercury direct now, though Mercury does need to get out of his shadow, when Mercury leaves his shadow and breaks this opposition with Neptune, we will be much more in the clear, you guys. And I mean that like literally in terms of in the clear, like in the way that our mind is working, like seeing things more clearly, but also in the clear in terms of knowing what we're going to do, what we're going to choose, perhaps how we're going to act. Although we are in a month, if you guys watched my October overview, we are in a month that is characterized by Mars in a square to Neptune. Mars in a square to Neptune disorients our ability to act. It brings lower energy. We may feel more actually like oriented towards like actively escaping things or avoiding like difficult things and confrontations and stuff than actually like handling them and facing them head on when we have Mars in the square to Neptune. This might be in terms of conversations and just movement generally. We're talking about Mars in the sign of Gemini, and that's another thing that is sort of playing out all month long. So, on one hand, we do have Mercury moving forward, but Mercury is also ruling the position of Mars right now, and Mars is in that square to Neptune, and because Mercury is direct now in the sign of Virgo, just a few degrees off of where Mars is in Gemini, we have a T-square playing out in the sky today, you guys. It's not exact, but Mercury is at 25 degrees of Virgo today. Neptune is at 24 degrees of Pisces. That's a 1-degree orb opposition. And then we've got Mars hanging out at 21 degrees of Gemini. So that's just a couple degrees off for this mutable T-square. Mars and Mercury sign. Mercury in his own sign of rulership opposite Neptune retrograde in his own sign of Pisces. This is like, again, this can bring, like, on one hand of things, with Mercury having gone direct, first of all, this is just a general disorientation, and as a result of that, an not knowing what to do, not knowing how to act, not necessarily knowing the next step, or taking some type of just reckless actions, like putting our foot in our mouth or something, or taking some type of reckless, like explosive actions as a result of some type of misunderstanding, getting into fights or conflicts as a result of some type of misunderstanding or misperception about things, or like I was saying earlier, like literally putting the energy into figuring out how to actively hide or actively avoid or actively evade the type of like confrontation or discussion or conversation, or literally like cognitive dissonance, like running from our own the truth that's literally like in front of our face. See, that's the thing. Mercury opposite Neptune, this energy, like I said, it clouds things, it shrouds things, it disorients things, it's illusion, it's confusion, it's hypnosis. It's like, it's like staring through the mist and trying to decipher like what you're seeing there and then make accurate conclusions about that. However, with Mercury having stationed direct actually in the opposition, there is an element about this that because of Mercury stationing direct, and because this is not the first time that Mercury has made the opposition to Neptune this go round because of this retrograde period, this could actually be finally bringing clarity to places. This could be lifting the fog, like dissolving the fog, clearing things up, ending the confusion. However, that doesn't necessarily like save us from the disorientation factor, because to me this aspect is like an inability to like believe your eyes or to like comprehend reality. You know what I mean? Like this could also be like the truth itself, even though we're seeing the truth, like even though we know, like we're seeing the clear image now, like that image in and of itself being so far out of like our pre-existing mental framework that it's still disorienting us. Like this is like it's not necessarily just being in like the state of confusion and not knowing anymore. It's like finding out the truth too, and that being so just like otherworldly Neptune Pisces that we are just like in a like dumbstruck, you know what I mean? Like okay, but now what? So on one hand, it could be that we are just like very confused about something, or we feel like we just don't know, or what to do and like how to act. But I feel like more so it's like the truth that we're finding out, or what we're discovering, or what we're coming to see is like was really happening the whole time actually is like perhaps creating this state of like paralysis as a result of maybe our inability to even process that which we are discovering in this energy. And I feel like actually as we move throughout this month of October, that type of thing may be coming up more and more, because we are in secrets revealed energy. We are in exposing things energy, but we're also in energy where there is just as strong of equal push to like distort that which is being exposed. So we have to be very, very careful. All month long, you guys, we need to be very, very careful of being conned, being like things being spun, narratives, false narratives, the media, news. We need to be very, very social media, very, very careful of anything that we are seeing along those lines, because there is likely to be so much distortion coming through news, media, information that it's really going to be hard to find actual truth that is coming through, like I was saying, like any type of news or media source. as this month plays out. And not only that, like there are active efforts, active attempts, and this is not just, you know, in terms of like the news and media stuff. This is also could be in like social circles or network groups, or, you know, people trying to control a narrative and, you know, slander certain people, or, you know, spin things a certain way in order to, you know, maintain some type of power and control. Like there's a lot of that playing out this cycle. So we want to really, you guys, like stay out of the gossip and stay out of the drama, and not take people's words for things unless we have like checked and checked again, and, you know, through our own careful observation come to that conclusion. That's what I will say, you guys. This is a period for observation. Now, we may not believe our eyes, but this is a period where we really want to be just like collecting as much data and information as we can, so that we can really sort and filter through that and use, you know, our gut instincts and our intuition with this Neptune energy is also a good guiding force, a good guiding light to really help us discern personally like what we feel to be true on. This is another thing, you guys, we cannot lose grasp of common sense in the energy that is playing out today, to start this week and over the course of this next month. Like the more rooted and grounded we can be in our own common sense, and, you know, just rooted and grounded, period. The more grounded we can be in like using our energy in more practical and productive ways, the better we are going to experience this period of time. So yeah, and then, like I said, also today specifically, we do have the moon in Capricorn. We are in black moon energy going on. So this is likely triggering these fears, worries, insecurities, doubts as well, perhaps in regards to home, family, stability, security, the ability to be like accepted and receive nurturing and love, and give nurturing and care and love, and just essentially be able to take care of ourselves and others. Like there may be some things coming up in this energy that are really just triggering some deep fears about whether or not we can provide for ourselves and others in one way going forward, or in regards, like I said, to like the home and the family and stuff like that. And also our ability to like have some type of success in the world. This is a Capricorn Cancer polarity that the black moon is dealing in right now, and our ability to feel supported and secure and accepted has a lot to do with our ability to create success and to feel stable and successful and independent in the world. So that's sort of what we're dealing with when we have the black moon in Cancer being activated by the Capricorn moon, which is what we're dealing with today. Now, we also have that moon coming into a conjunction with Pluto. This is that transformative emotional energy that may be wrapped up in this somehow. It's like, you know, whatever experiences we're dealing with right now, there's an aspect of it today that is really trying to transform us on a very deep emotional level and help us to let go of some past attachments that perhaps may have been preventing us from aligning with the trajectory of growth and coming into our full potential. And universe, I will tell you guys right now, a lot of what is playing out, we are also back in Saturn square Uranus exact energy. This past 2 years, a lot of things have been happening that may not have made sense, okay? And they may seem like the worst case scenarios. They may seem like no understanding of why these things have happened the way that they've happened. But I do feel that there is, in the context of our transition to the age of Aquarius right now, I feel like there are certain things that need to happen in order to allow this shift of ages and this transition to take place. And it has a lot to do with the crumbling matrix, the need to dissolve the power and control hierarchies of the past, and in order so that like a new era can emerge that is this age of Aquarius, that is this age of self-empowerment, that is this age of co-creation with God and universe, and this age of self-actualization and self-mastery, essentially. That process can't take place with a lot of the structures and the hierarchies and just the dynamics of things, even the family dynamics of things, and the just societal dynamics of things that have been in place up until this point in time. And I think that there have been a lot of people, I guess you could say, being activated with sort of like these missions that they don't even necessarily know about. But in order for that mission to occur, in order for that role to be played, to take place in order such that other things can happen to allow this shift of ages to really come together and to really, on an energetic level, assist in the demolition of this past hierarchical structure so that this new one can be born and emerge. I think that, like I said, certain people are being activated to fulfill like certain destinies or missions that they had been, maybe unaware of, period, up until this point in time. But in order for that to happen, it's like a lot of other things need to happen to put them in a place or to push them in a place to activate in this way that creates this greater snowball, greater ripple effect, or this systemic like change in one type of way, or bring awareness to one thing or another. But it's like through their own individual like hero's journey. It's through their own dark night of the soul, essentially, or through these experiences that really seem like the worst case scenario, like I said, or like, have been forsaken by God, or like, why is this happening? I've been noticing that I think that is a lot of what is playing out and what has been playing out over the course of these past 2 years, and why there have been some of these major upheavals to our personal lives in ways that perhaps seem very negative and that we can't necessarily understand. I think that there is a much higher purpose behind a lot of the stuff that is happening right now, but we haven't gotten far enough along yet to see like sort of where this is all leading. And like I said, I feel like this started really activating around February of last year, February 2021, when we had our first Saturn square Uranus hit. Because Saturn square Uranus, this is Uranus, first of all, this is the great awakening energy. This is the conscious awakening. This is putting things right. This is the energy that is transitioning us into that age of self-mastery, into that age of self-knowledge, into the age of Aquarius. Saturn is the old ancient ruler of the sign of Aquarius and rules structures and establishments and authorities and rules and limitations and in time and karma and the old ways of doing things. And there's been this energy and this 90-degree angle of these two planets, these two archetypes, these two frequencies, both ruling this paradigm that we are transitioning into now, the old and the new, coming up together, coming up against each other. And I feel like these aspects have been what has been doing that thing of like causing these upheavals that have been propelling us into situations and positions that we never would have found ourselves in otherwise, that are turning us into people that we never would have become and helping us to fulfill these missions that we never knew that we had, in order such that this whole grand story, this whole grand picture can come together. So as we are heading into this month of October, you guys, and in this energy today, we do have the moon, while it's forming the conjunction to Pluto and activating the black moon energy, the moon is also going to be forming a trine to Uranus. I do think even in this heavier, more pessimistic, more glass half empty, more perhaps like depressing or discouraging energy that we may be in right now, there is an aspect of universe that is facilitating some type of progress along those lines that I was just talking about through whatever is transpiring today. And it does also have to do with this internalized transformation with the moon and the conjunction to Pluto as well. But with us being back in this heavy Saturn square Uranus energy that's going to last all month, I do feel like this is the fourth direct hit, okay? It was February, June, and December of 2021, and now we are back in this energy October 2022. And I feel like this is sort of the last chapter in that saga that's been unfolding since that period of time, that is trying to make these big changes for us in one way or another, through essentially either stripping everything from us and putting us in a position where we have nothing left to rely on but our own selves, and therefore triggering like this response in which we rise into our potential and our truth, or just putting us in positions where we have to become a person for one reason or another that we never knew we could be, in order to really fight for something that's important to us, or that we believe in, or that we love, or that we care about. And as a result of that, creating this larger systemic ripple effect that is either bringing awareness to something very important, some type of, abuse of power or something that's been going on behind the scenes. Because remember, this is all about righting wrongs. This is all about rectifying things. This is all about justice restored. And it may need to happen through some very difficult experiences but it happens through people becoming their own savior. This to me, it's actually it's like we are all becoming the superheroes that save the planet in one way or another. It's that's what I feel like this is doing. It's energy that is pushing us through these difficult experiences to really find our inner superhero and do what is necessary to save the day in our own lives, in our own little microcosm worlds. And that through that effort is having a larger impact on the whole of rooting out the corruption, clearing the negativity and the lower vibrations from the planet that need to be eliminated at this point in time, so that we can be liberated to move forward in this new direction. I feel like, you guys, we are all so much more powerful than we know at this point in time, and we can't allow ourselves to be persuaded out of that through what appears to be happening right in front of our face, or any state of lack that we appear to be experiencing in this moment, or any fears that we may have for the future. Remember, we're not seeing things entirely clearly right now. I don't think that people, even though we do have Mercury direct right now, I don't think we still have an ability to be super logical about the way that all of this is actually playing out, and sort of the purpose behind all of it, the way that this Mars, Neptune, Mercury energy is presenting, especially now also that the planets are moving out of opposition to Jupiter. When we had the planets in an opposition to Jupiter from Libra to Aries over the past this past week or so, that was really doing a lot to help expand our perspective and give us a more overall view of stuff, an ability to see more of the big picture of things. But today we're really falling very much so back into a more narrow view and a narrow focus, especially with the moon in Capricorn. Saturn, structure, control, limitation, very can bring a much more narrow-minded viewpoint of things. So there may, and with the square going on between Mars and Neptune, this black moon energy, like I said, pessimism, discouragement, feelings of hopelessness and despair, I feel like it's a lot of perceptual distortion though. And we may feel like there's obstructions also that are just insurmountable at this point in time. We may be really coming up against, with the Saturn square Uranus back in fact, authority or judgments or rules or just false narratives, projections, or even appearances with this Libra stuff going on. Even just exactly how things appear to be in our tangible reality right now that are presenting as setbacks. That's really how we may feel. We may feel like we're experiencing some setbacks in this energy that we have going on today, which is not what I want to be saying when I'm talking about Mercury going direct. But like I said, I do feel with Uranus in the trine to the moon today, on one hand, there is a silver lining, or an unexpected silver lining perhaps, that may be involved in all of this and what goes on today, and things sort of falling into place somehow. But it may also be happening in ways that we just can't necessarily perceive yet, because we don't have all of the context of the foresight. We are stuck where we're at and trying to navigate through the fog right now using what we have. And the other thing we need to keep in mind with this Mars and Gemini stuff is there is an over identification with our ideas, with our opinions, with what we think about things, with our thoughts. With Mars in the sign of Gemini, Mars rules the ego. This is an ego attachment. This is I am my thoughts. And so when my thoughts are negative, when my thoughts are narrow-minded, when my thoughts are pessimistic, then I am likely to be feeling quite discouraged and in alignment with those things as well. It's we have a tendency to be we are what we think when we have Mars in the sign of Gemini. But we have to remember, consciously from a higher mind, out of our ego mind, we have to remember, that's not necessarily true or real. Just because we are perceiving things a certain way in this moment, that does not mean that that's actually what's happening in the bigger picture, in the grand scheme of things. It might be what we think, and that may be influencing how we are feeling, or how we are feeling may be influencing how we are thinking, but that does not necessarily mean that that is like real truth and fact. So we need to keep that in mind as well, and just not overly identify, woe is me totally completely, because today I appear to be facing these obstructions and these limitations to what I thought was happening. And, I'm feeling like hopeless, and I'm feeling discouraged, and I'm feeling judged as well, with Saturn over there. Moon, that can also just be critical judgments. There could be some like nasty words and stuff from others as well. Projection may be really, really strong today in this energy. People could be being just like very negative, and they could be projecting a lot of that negativity outwards as well. People, like I said, this also could be bringing up escapism tendencies and abandonment as well, especially with this Black Moon Cancer. People could be totally just like abandoning their duties and their responsibilities and their obligations and, the things that they are responsible to like care for and nurture and stuff like that today. With the way that this is going on in the Mars Neptune thing, but and then like actively avoiding reality, like I said, or also big fights over misunderstandings, not seeing things eye to eye, or just like being on two totally different pages about things, seeing things from two totally different perceptional lenses, causing conflict and bringing things to a head. This could also be going on. People generally could be very delusional about things today as well. Depression, anger, and projection. Lots of projection. Whenever we're in Black Moon energy, projection is a theme of the Black Moon, ruling our subconscious mind. And, a lot of times what we don't realize our own problem is, we have a tendency of subconsciously seeing in others and sort of like putting on them and like attacking them for that could really be something that's going on in this energy. And we do not want to attach to other people's thoughts, opinions, and judgments about us in this energy, unless they are coming from a place of like genuine constructive criticism, which we can take in a genuinely constructive, critical way. We do not want to be like basing our identity or our self-worth or our value over other people's delusional assessments of us in this energy. People are not likely to be acting or communicating well. And like I said, there is this bigger picture that I feel like is playing out, that the Saturn square Mars energy is moving things forward, triggering things to happen in a way that activates destiny. Despite this more difficult energy today, we do have the moon forming the trine to Uranus as well. So whatever is coming up now is ultimately for a reason that will make more sense in the future. But universe is at work, you guys, moving things in the direction they need to go. And like I said, the direction they need to go might be a direction that seems totally contradictory to what, you might think the direction that they need to go in is. And it's because there may be something that is going to be activated within you through the process of them going in this direction that needs to happen in order so that you can do some type of necessary job or mission or purpose that maybe wouldn't have happened otherwise. And I really feel like that's what is happening. I really feel like God, universe, great spirit is using like the collective of humanity as the warriors in this unfolding spiritual battle, and through putting us in situations where, again, like I said, it's like we are being activated in terms of like our superpowers for some cause that is truly meaningful to us. It's like we're stepping into this power and we're affecting change in a way that is having a much bigger effect than, we could have ever thought or anticipated for ourselves. There are big destinies being activated, and that is what is necessary to move us forward and make this transition happen and bring down the power and control hierarchies of the past across the board, microcosm, macrocosm, that are holding the negative frequencies that need to be cleared, released, and cleansed, purged, purified from the planet at this point in time, so that we can rise into these higher frequencies and this conscious awareness and this co-creation, self-mastery energy, so that we can return the state of the collective human consciousness to these higher vibrations and usher in these new golden age energies. But anyways, you guys, I feel like the best use of this energy, let's talk about the best way to use this day today. Time of observation, study without jumping to conclusions, because A lot of what we might be observing and studying, we may not be totally getting totally seeing clearly, or it may just be really disorienting us even more. But we want to collect the data. We're doing research into whatever's going on, and we are not jumping to conclusions, and we are certainly not taking any type of rash action or getting into fights and arguments based on the data that we are collecting at this point in time. We are gaining crucial insight. We do have the sun today, you guys, at 11 degrees of Libra. That Sabian symbol is a professor peering over his glasses at his students. So data collection, research, gaining some type of crucial insight, observation. It's an observation day, you guys. That's what we need to do in this energy, not jump into the ring and, fling those verbal grenades. We need to sit on the sidelines and observe what's going on so that we can just gather as much information as possible, that we can then begin to process and come to some good conclusions as Mercury moves out of his shadow. We are trying to be productive as well. That is another very good way to use this energy. We do still have Mars in a loose trine to Saturn. Mars and trine to Saturn, this energy is very, very good for being productive, being practical, getting things done that are actually going to be have some type of effect and making our lives better in some type of a way. We are trying to be productive in this energy. We do have a Capricorn moon today that also really likes to get to work and to be productive. Mercury's also in the sign of Virgo. Mercury in Virgo also really likes to be productive and appreciates, attention to detail and trying to be practical and focused and hardworking. And we do, like I said, still have Mars and Gemini in that trine to Saturn as well. Using our mind, time, and energy for practical, productive projects and working towards our goals will bring the best results in this energy. If we want to feel good about ourselves today and what we've got going on in our lives, doing little things that improve what we got going on in one way or another, move us toward our goal in one way or another, just checking little things off the list, just little things here or there, practical things that make our lives easier, more streamlined, better in one way or another. Good way to use this energy. We want to, like I said, stay out of the gossip, which might be hard right now, guys, because we are in Libra season, and a Libra, Libras love a good gossip session. Very social, information oriented sign, but with the Mars in the opposition to Neptune and the square, or the Mars squaring Neptune in opposition to Mercury, that's not a good place to be putting our energy right now. We also, like I said, want to, because nobody knows what they're talking about. It's so pointless to get involved in rumors and gossip and slander and any type of information war, or games of telephone, or he said, she said. It's so pointless right now, because literally no one knows what they're talking about. And people are changing right now too. People are going through a very internalized process of really making some very fundamental changes. And what somebody did or said one day might be a totally different person from who they are the next day at this point in time. And people misinterpreting other people's actions when people are used to people acting a certain way, and all of a sudden they're not, and then perceiving that and taking it one way or another when it's not even that at all. There's just way too much opportunity for things to be wrong in this energy. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to get in fights over misunderstandings. And another thing, there may be a highlight on geopolitical stuff going on this week, government type stuff. There's also a lot of symbolism that is relating to that in our chart today. We have the Earth today at 11 degrees of Aries, the ruler of a nation. We have Mercury, 25 Virgo, a flag at half mast in front of a public building. And we have Jupiter recently retrograded back to 3 degrees of Aries, a cameo profile of a man in the shape of his country. So there could be, just maybe a highlight on leadership, authority, government, shifts of power, patriotism perhaps too, that are going on throughout today or in the course of this week. Remember, don't necessarily believe what they're telling you on the news, you guys. I'm saying that because we have Mercury opposite Neptune with Mars and square in Gemini. People are pushing narratives, pushing agendas. We need to be very rooted in our own personal truth and what we've discovered about ourselves, our desires, and our shifting preferences over this past Mercury retrograde period, and not be jumping into action before we truly feel like we've got a clear understanding of what is playing out in various circumstances in our lives. So that is what I have to say today, you guys, in terms of the astrology. Let's talk about the tarot now for a minute. There's a message coming out that in a lot of ways is saying a lot of the same thing. Today we've got the Ace of Swords coming out, followed by Death in reverse, followed by the Five of Wands, the Queen of Swords, and the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Now it's interesting because if you guys will notice, we have two cards with gentlemen on horses, and both of them are reverse. And this is telling me, you guys, that we may feel blocked in terms of our ability to move forward right now, both in terms of transformations that we are trying to make happen, in terms of maybe the way that we are trying to recreate ourselves or our lives or our circumstances or our relationships or our thoughts and perspectives about things right now, and also the direction that we are trying to go in terms of actually like embodying that and starting to like lay some foundations tangibly that are leading to that we can build on along those lines. So this is, to me, representing a blockage that we may be experiencing. Again, this energy of setbacks. But it's so interesting because it's the Ace of Swords coming through. This is Mercury direct. This is like clarity. This is like a moment of clarity too, or like a divine understanding, or just like a really a good idea, or just some type of like very crucial insight that is coming to us. But it's like, for whatever reason, instead of this insight like helping us move forward, it's creating almost like an inner conflict or conflict with others as a result of this personal truth, Queen of Swords, that we are coming to. It's like whatever insight that we are gaining, perhaps whatever clarity we are gaining, like I was saying before, like it may be creating conflict for us actually in terms of being able to move forward in one way, or in terms of our ability to transform in one way or another. On the back of the deck, we had the Ace of Cups. So we've got the Ace of Swords coming out first. We've got the Ace of Cups on the back of the deck. This is like this is emotional renewal. This is a new journey in love. This is like a new emotional beginning. And this is like sort of reprogramming also like our own like subconscious algorithms so that we are able to align with and attract what is truly fulfilling to us. There's something that is going on in the air today, in the energy today, that may definitely be bringing up some type of conflict, either internalized conflict or conflict with just people around us. But it's the Five of Wands. This is leading to some type of change. This is also, this is the Wands. This is that Mars energy. This also could be like discouragement or words or communications or other people's ideas or thoughts about us that are creating some kind of discouragement or drawback or setback in one way or another. But it's just very interesting because it's like we are right on the brink of this new beginning in terms of both our thoughts and our feelings. But for some reason today, it's like this truth may be causing a conflict that actually we feel like is creating some type of setback to both, this rebirth process that we are going through right now, and also to our ability to move forward in a new direction and lay some foundations. But I feel like this is also talking about like this inner conflict that could be coming up. It's like it's this cognitive dissonance as well. It's like these truths that we may be coming up to, like we may be in one way like sabotaging our own ability to move forward at this point in time as a result of an inability to, like I said, like accept things for what they are, or, in regards to what that's going to mean in terms of our ability to move forward along the life that we had like envisioned for ourselves. Like this is, I feel like, just talking about disruptions that may be coming up in our ability to make progress along the lines of our personal transformation at this point in time, as a result perhaps of some harsh truths that may be presenting themselves to us, or with these reversals, a lack of this like escapism thing, right? Like actively riding away from the truths that are presenting. Like that is another way actively avoiding the change and going in the new direction as well. Like actively avoiding having to embody the truth that is presenting. Like that is another way that that message could be interpreted. So that is what I have to say for the tarot today, you guys. Let's grab a synchronicity card now. One more card, God, Spirit, Universe. What can benefit us? What do we need to know as we are going through our day today? What can help us? Oh, we got one card popping out and it says no. So that might be relevant to somebody if you have a question, if something you're debating or wondering about. We got the no card coming out today. Oh, and here we got one. It says honesty pays. And like I was saying, with so much deception, manipulation, false narrative, projection energy, I do think that this is right on point. The righteousness of the perfect shall direct his way, but the wicked shall fall by his own wickedness. Proverbs 11:5. Let all you do be done with love, honesty, and integrity. Don't do anything you know to be wrong. If you hurt another, you are only hurting yourself. Honesty is the best policy. I do, you guys, feel like this is something that we really, really need to be adhering to in this energy, you know, especially with Saturn so in effect right now. And all this Mars Neptune, there is a lot of deception out there. And the more in alignment with our personal integrity and honesty that we can be in this energy, the more it's likely to facilitate our ability to have a better experience moving through what needs to be done at this point in time. So that is what I have to say today, you guys. A message from the stars, a message from the cards. I hope you guys liked it. I hope that there was something in there that can help you in one way or another. If you guys did like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think that they would be interested. I am really trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, you guys. We are not that far off. I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and help me out. Thank you guys so much. I have a Facebook page, a website, a Facebook group, and some other social media stuff. Those are in my description box below. And come back with me tomorrow, you guys. We will have more energy to talk about on the 4th. Let's see. We've got more of this Mars, Mercury, Neptune energy, Saturn square Uranus playing out. We're going to be talking more about that tomorrow. The moon will move into Aquarius, so we'll have that going on as well. So I will be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. And until tomorrow, you guys have a beautiful day. Bye, guys.